I wouldn't have the patience to do the detail. But when you do it, along with the composition and everything, it's very nice.
Well, I think maybe my next move is going to be into more impressionistic work. But I don't suggest that as a way of saying that you should become more detailed, because I think
we could switch positions.
Yes, right. Be in each other's area without ever feeling at home. No, I admire what you find in the impressions of a scene, and I'd like to do more of that myself.
This is a painting of Carl's, and I like it, but I find it kind of stark. It's different. It's not something that I would paint, certainly, and I'm not sure that I would like it hanging in my living room. I do admire it, but at first I wasn't quite sure what it was even. But I guess it's just not my cup of tea.
Well, what it is are barricades and signs that you find frequently around excavations or manhole work in New York City. And it just struck me that these shapes are almost alive because of the way they stand up and intermingle with each other. And there's something almost spider-like about the folding signs, yellow signs that would say men working, and that's the title of the painting. They look almost like they could crawl around amidst the barricades. There's something also that I find an almost abstract feeling, but all of these things, especially the lights, stand there in defiance of gravity. You know, it's easy to fall, but it's tough to stand. And these things all stand very strongly against the forces of gravity and the forces on the street that would knock them over, and they're almost defiant in their stance. One thing I enjoy doing is painting on location, rather than making sketches and photographs and finishing a painting later. And the reason I enjoy it is because there's a certain fulfillment of the senses that takes place when you're right there at the scene. You can smell it, you can touch it, you can feel it, you can see it, and there are little nuances that emerge in colors and shadows and so forth that photographs never fully capture. Sketches don't do it justice. And so I enjoy painting on location. There are drawbacks. The wind blows the sand into your wet paint. The paper dries too quickly because the sun is beating in on it. The light changes. What you started in the morning, if you don't finish it quickly, looks entirely different in the afternoon sun. So there are difficulties painting on location. But the full sensation that you get from the scene, the way all of your senses pick up things, more than makes up for the drawbacks. This painting was done up in Maine, an island off of Acadia National Park, where our daughter used to spend summers with a family of painters. And the name of the dory is Bernard, named after a French painter. And Bernard rests here up on a tidal flat far from the water, which is its natural habitat. The tide is out and Bernard is sitting high and dry on grass. Later on, when the tide is in, Bernard floats very happily in a little salt pond. One of the things that distinguishes one medium from another, in this case acrylics from watercolors, is that acrylics offer the opportunity to come back and rework a surface and change things ad infinitum. You don't have to worry about what's under it because you can cover it up and it will be opaque and it won't betray what was under it. In watercolors, it's quite a different story because the colors are all transparent to one degree or another. And once you put something down on the paper, it remains there and you can see it through successive colors that may be applied over it. Grace is very successful at scrubbing things out of a watercolor that she doesn't like and coming back and putting new things in. I've never had that kind of success in changing a watercolor. Once the color is down, it's down. This is a good example of what you can do in acrylics. Grace had this painting complete almost in earlier stages, and it looked somewhat different than it looks now. She went back and felt that this reflection hadn't been fully enough developed, and developed that more. She put more strength and brightness in this reflection. And then at a certain stage, she looked at the painting and thought, well, that's okay as it is, but I wish that this reflection had more of a water feeling to it. And so she went back again and broke it up with some little ripple reflections in the water and some little indications of water lilies that gave this plane a whole new reflective dimension again that it didn't have at an earlier stage. Same thing with this tree reflection of this distant tree up here. It was not always as bright or as defined as we see it now, but in a subsequent pass at this painting, she brought out those details. And so this painting has evolved layer after layer, each one an improvement on the previous layer.
This has been really wonderful for us to see all of our paintings hanging here in this gallery. The YWCA opens this gallery every month to someone to show, our group, and it's really been a wonderful experience. And we really appreciate the Y doing this.
That's true. There are a lot more artists in this area than there are venues for exhibitions. And the YW has generously made this gallery space, which is very pleasant space. It's large and it's well lit and it's easy to hang. They've made this space available to local artists for exhibitions. In fact, I believe it's booked up about 1.5 years in advance, but it is open for local artists, and all you have to do is apply to the YWCA here on Putnam Avenue in Greenwich, and they will most likely give you a spot sometime in the future to display your work. We have found them most courteous, most helpful. They will help you arrange an opening reception. It's just a wonderful spot and great people to work with.